Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you the best MAELLE build guide for Act 2 of Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Now where MAELLE really shines is her ability to do max amounts of damage while in her Virtuose stance, which is nice because we also have the Flueret Fury attack here, which can keep us in our Virtuose stance and break posture to set up a very strong Percee attack as well. So those are going to be the main sources of our damage. Now what's nice is she's able to get into her Virtuose stance if there's a burn applied. And what's also nice about that is we can set it up too. Unfortunately, we did not get lucky with our burning shots there. We had 0 stacks of it. But normally what we do is we try to attack a couple times to set up Swift Strike there. So here's a perfect example of that. We got burning, so we can use our Swift Stride. What's also nice is we have the marking shots. We can just apply a mark as well before we do that. Be mindful that it does take 3 action points, so don't shoot off too many shots. But once we have a burning enemy there, then we get ourselves in Virtuose stance, which is going to be very powerful. So now that we're in Virtuose stance with maximum amounts of action points, we can go ahead with a Flueret Fury. What's also nice is then we can go ahead also if we wanted to by setting up with Mark Shot there, since we have more than enough. This is very powerful, using on people that are close having their posture broke. And what's also good is since we stay in Virtuose stance, we got a Percee attack. It does use only 2 action points if we're in this stance, which is huge. So what we can do is we can go ahead with attacks to try and mark the enemy, because it deals excessive amounts of damage on marked enemies. Unfortunately, we didn't hit that, but we're still likely going to be able to one-shot most enemies. I found that attack about mid-act 2 will be able to one-shot or do 999 damage on pretty much any attacker. Now, as for the best weapon, there is one that I don't have. That is one that you get from fighting Golgra, or if you did the challenge whenever you went to the Gestural Village. So make sure you choose MAELLE for that fight, or you'll not get this weapon until you fight Golgra, who's very challenging until you hit about level 50. So the Mellow Realm weapon here is also really good because this gives us Shell whenever our health is above 80%. What's also nice about that is we can make Shell give us powerful, so we can set up more damage with our attacks. And this also gives allies 20% health on switching to Virtuose stance. So we constantly want to keep cycling back into that because it's going to keep our teammates alive, and it does quite a bit of damage. It scales off of vitality and luck, so that's where we want to put a bunch of our stats. I like to have the empowering parry here. I find she's great for parrying. So this one will give us successful parries do increase damage by 5% until the end of the next turn. Taking any damage reduces this buff. Whereas this is nice is that you can parry and basically stack up that extra damage buff pretty easily if you're good at parrying. If you're not, I would recommend going with something else. Anything that's going to boost her speed and critical hit rate. We want her to go before Verso here, so you can see, or we want her to go after Verso because he can set up marked, so make sure that her speed is just a little bit below his. Otherwise, you'll go first. He can set up burning shots as well. I find going Lune first, and then Verso, and then finally MAELLE works best. But I also like the longer shell. Upon applying shell, its duration is increased by 2, and then applying powerful upon applying shell. So whenever we start the round, we literally will have our powerful and shell set up. Now, what we like to go with for skills here, so I got the offensive switch, which will set up, we don't have that many action points. This can set up the offensive stance. Sword Ballet deals extreme single target damage 5 hits. This can be really good if we build up 9 action points. It hits extremely hard. Spark deals slow fire damage. If we don't have anyone else to set up burn, we can go with it ourselves. I find Swift Stride a necessity. These are our 3 most important skills. Typically, we're only going to be using these 3. So Swift Stride gets us into Virtuose stance. Percee, if we don't have enough action points to do Flueret Fury, which takes 6, this one will cost 2 when we're in Virtuose stance. So this will deal increased damage to marked targets. You don't even have to be in Virtuose stance. You can apply this if there's a marked target. It's likely going to do a ton of damage. Whenever they say increased damage, it's highly increased damage. So make sure that you have Verso setting up marked, or someone else, even yourself, can set up marked and then use this attack. But Flueret Fury, as you saw there, is something we definitely want to have going for us because the damage is huge. It can break posture, and it keeps us in our most damaging stance. Now, as for the Luminas that we're going to be going with, I like to have ones like increased counterattack damage because you're going to be blocking and parrying often. Increased free aim damage because we're going to be doing that often as well. Increased break damage. Breaking shots, increased break with our free aim shots. Burning shots because we want to have burn on the enemy. Critical moment, 50% increased critical hit chance of health below 30%, which is pretty powerful. We have a 68% critical hit chance right now, so most of our hits will be crits. Combo attack, base attack is 1 extra attack. You can take that off though, because there is some other optional options that we can go with. Dead energy given 3 AP on enemy. You can take this off for boss fights and put on another one. Dodger, essential. +1 action points of base attack. That is also good, especially with the combo attack, because this can give us 2 action points if we don't want to, if we just want to use our main attack. Energizing Stakers is a +5 or +1 action point on battle start. Fueling break. Breaking a target doubles its burn amount. We break targets often, which is nice to be able to double the burn. Healing parry, give us a bit of health on our parry. We want to be focusing on parry a lot because we get a good benefit from it. I like to also have healing share, receive 50% of all heals affecting other characters. This is super useful because it keeps you alive. Tick heals like this, the 50% is really nice, especially since Verso can be set up to heal himself really easily. Longer shell, upon applying shell, it's increased by 2 turns. Marked, this will apply marked. 1 in 5 chance of applying marked. So this is useful because that Percee attack is so powerful. Powerful revive, apply powerful for 3 turns when revived. She does go down sometimes. Lower health than the other heroes makes it so that she does end up downing sometimes. I also like the staggering attack, increase break damage on base attack, and then 1+ action point on attack enemy's weakness once per turn. So with these, we could also go with like the energizing attack too. Healing fire, which will heal you when you attack a burning target. And critical burn, which is an early game Picto that you can get that increases your critical hit chance by 25% when you're attacking a burning enemy. Since we already have a 68% critical hit chance, this makes it so that pretty much all of our attacks will be critical hits, which is very, very impactful. Now, as for leveling, when we go to attributes, it's nice to be able to put some points into her might here, but it's not fully required. So I found that going with something like this. So we're going to put a ton of our points into a health because this is going to scale up our attack damage as well as their survivability. So it's nice to get that up high, and then we want to dump a lot of points into our luck because luck is going to give us that very high critical hit chance that we want to have. So that means that most of our attacks will be taking out enemies. You can also put points in this to take it up to a certain mark, as you can see here. Sometimes it doesn't really give us that much of a benefit. Basically, once we get to like level 60, that's like the soft cap. 61 actually gives us an extra point there, so that can be nice. And then we can put some points into agility. I like to have her going after Verso and Lune. And then also putting a bit of points into might. So this will give us increased attack damage. Defense can also work a bit, but it's probably better to put more points into your overall health, as you could just take more hits and then also get your attack power up even higher. So this can be a good way to build around, or a good number to build around, and then put some points in your defense just so that you don't get knocked out in a few shots. And then again, we can go more points into luck because that critical hit chance is really nice. So something like this works well. If you're not level 55, I'm at the very end of Act 2 here. So level 30, obviously putting less points around, mostly into your vitality and luck. However, if you got another weapon, scale based on that and try to get your damage numbers up as high as possible. She also has some other skills that are pretty useful, so I really enjoy using some of these more powerful ones, like Sword Ballet can be good. Deals extreme target damage, 5 hits. This is a hard one because it uses 9 action points, so not until you get some later Pictos that make it a little bit better. If we end up moving first, what we want to be doing is we do need to have at least 3 action points to use Swift Stride, so we can do a couple shots. We don't have the greatest chance, about a 40% chance of getting that set up. So sometimes just dealing with a regular attack is not a bad option there to stack up our action points for the next turn. And you can see we hit crits really easily. I'm going to mention Verso here because he is extremely useful. I like to have the dual ESO weapon here because you can see he can apply burn pretty easily and mark. Now, mark's going to set up MAELLE to do a ton of damage, and I also like this weapon because you can attack, get your action back, and then continually keep stacking up burn on as many targets as possible. Along with Lune, this can be very effective. Now, this is not optimal because I would love to be able to be in our Virtuose stance here, but Percee can still do quite a bit of damage if we're not even in it, because you can see there, we're going to max it anyways, so you may as well just use that if you're later on in the game, because hitting a marked target does the max damage anyway, so that can be very powerful. Now, another thing that's nice is just focusing on her shot attacks here, so yeah, you can see there, if you hit a weak spot, it does a ton of damage. We set up Mark there, and we got exactly 5 action points to be able to use this, so we're going to do, again, the max amount of damage, making it a pretty strong way to play MAELLE. So that's a very strong way to play MAELLE in Expedition 33. Feel free to leave a comment if you have any other Pictos that you think work well on this build. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next video.